The Miami Heat have now lost 6 in a row, this time to the New York Knicks. I'll recap last night's game as well as what the heck has been going wrong for the Miami Heat over this 6-game stretch. Remember to subscribe to the channel, as 95% of you guys aren't currently subbed over here at Heat Digest, and we are on the road to 600 subscribers. Let's get to the recap, as the New York Knicks once again just beat up the Miami Heat for the 6th straight time. The Miami Heat just can't stop anybody from doing anything on the defensive end of the floor. Now, the New York Knicks, 45 of 87 from the field. They shot 51% from the field. And now, from the three-point line, they shot 17 of 33, which is once again 51% from the field. Now, the Miami Heat, 14 of 37. They shot 37% from the three-point line, as well as 46.5% from the field, shooting 41 of 88. We cannot let teams shoot 51% from the field, let alone 51% from behind the three-point line, and expect to win ball games. Now, whether it was miscommunications on back screens or elevator screens, allowing players to get wide open on three-point shots or even back cuts yesterday for the New York Knicks, it just went wrong for the Miami Heat. This game was close for the first quarter and a half, 2 quarters, but things really got out of hand as we gave up a 10-point lead. It seemed like we could never get closer. In the New York Knicks, every time we did earn a stop on the defensive side of things, we came down and never rewarded ourselves. And if we did, it resulted in a New York Knicks 3. At least it felt like that every single time down the floor. The Knicks simply just couldn't miss. It seemed like they were throwing a rock in the ocean and they were standing on the beach. It was just 3 after 3 after 3. Shooting a high percentage and shooting very effectively in the shots they did take. They shot less threes and made more of them than the Miami Heat. Now, this isn't anything new. Let's go over what's been going on in this 6-game stretch. The Miami Heat, the New York Knicks are just the most recent team to do this to the Miami Heat. Not to mention, we played the Celtics before the Knicks, just before this Knicks game, and it was worse than this. Let's pull up the standings really quick just for perspective. But the Celtics shot 55% from 3 and 63% from the field. Now, before that, we played the Grizzlies. They didn't have Ja Morant, and Jaren Jackson Jr. shot 5 of 21 from the field, including getting his shot blocked 6 different times from Bam Adebayo. Vince Williams Jr., G.G. Jackson, Scottie Pippen Jr. all had great games. Simply, if you asked a casual fan of the NBA, they probably wouldn't even be able to tell you where those 3 players currently play basketball if you didn't tell them who they played for. And we let them just dominate us as from the Miami Heat. Now, the reason I pull up the standings is because 5 of our 6 losses coming in the 6-game losing streak have all been against Eastern Conference teams. The Grizzlies, 3 games ago, were the only team that weren't from the Eastern Conference. The 3 games prior to the Grizzlies, the Magic, the Hawks, and the Raptors. The Raptors had just got rid of Siakam. Gary Trent Jr. absolutely killed us. Mind you, we lost the rebounding battle in that game. We then played the Hawks with no Trae Young. We got beat on a buzzer beater due to terrible defense all game long and terrible shot selection down the stretch of that 4th quarter game. Again, that was in conference and in division. Then we played the Magic. Again, another in-conference game and in-division game. We got dominated. We also lost the rebounding battle. Now, the Magic, the Hawks, the Raptors, the Grizzlies, these teams are not teams we should be losing to, let alone we shouldn't even be in close games with these teams due to the fact that we have such a good team on paper and on the floor. We just got Rozier. It's only our 3rd game with Rozier. We cannot jump the gun. He's averaging 8.7 points, 5 assists, and 3.7 rebounds in these 3 games. It's not time to panic and think Rozier was a bad trade or this is a bad match. It's not going to work. Don't jump the gun yet. It's very early. When Butler and Hero and Adebayo all came back from their respected injuries and their rest due to the injury, we weren't just like, first game back, oh, we didn't win, or Butler didn't have 50. It's a flaw. We got to get rid of him. We didn't do that then. I know it's a totally different scenario. We're bringing a good player in from a bad team and putting him on a good team, and we're expecting things to work instantly. It never works like that. And if it does, either they skyrocket right at the beginning and they plummet afterwards and they really flame out and go stagnant. Right now, Rozier joined a team that was already on a 3-game losing streak, and then we expected him to just fix everything. It doesn't work like that. Give it time to work. Let the All-Star break go by. We have 20 days until then. If things still don't work with Rozier, we can talk about whether or not it was a good trade or not. But until then, do not jump the gun and blame Rozier for everything, because that's not what's going on. It's defensively. Again, it's rebounding and defense. Out of the 6 games, we've lost the rebounding battle in 5 of them. In the only game we didn't lose the rebounding battle, we tied, and it was against the Hawks. It was 47 apiece in the rebounding battle. We ended up losing on a game winner from DeJounte Murray. And you can argue that was bad defense. He just came to a stop after moving at full speed, and Caleb Martin was short on his shot contest. Again, we shouldn't have won that game because we played sloppy from start to finish, just like we did against the Raptors when we lost by almost 30, when we lost to the Magic, who just simply dominated us, despite us being the big brother, despite us knowing it's a divisional game, in-state game, Orlando playing Miami. It's a game we should not lose. The Raptors, again, the Hawks with no Trae Young, we lost to them. Overall, not a great look. Again, let's look at the Eastern Conference standings, as we are still in the 7th spot. We have not dropped from there. That's because the Magic are just a half game back in the division standings, as well as the conference standings, looking for that 7th spot. Now, the problem is 6 through 1 are just getting farther and farther and farther away for the Miami Heat due to our terrible play and losing these games, 5 of the last 6, all to Eastern Conference teams. Now, I have some stats for us to go along with how bad our defense has been all year long. Now, these are our team stats per game, and it's really all the major statistical categories. Here are our opponent stats per game. This is by month. Now, I'm focusing on the field goal percentages stats. It is the 1, 2, 3, the 5th column over from the left-hand side. 48%, 47%, 47%, 47%. These are the field goal percentages we are giving up on average month by month. That is nearly 50%. We are nearly giving up 50% shot selection or shot percentages to teams on average from month to month. That is not going to get it done. Now, you're like, Houston, what do our stats look like? It's not 47, almost 50%, 42% in the month of October. Yes, we had 2 good months, November and December. We shot 48% and 47%, right around the same that we're giving up. But again, in the month of January, in 14 games played, on January 28th, which is today, 44% from the field. We are not going to be able to beat these teams when we are giving up such a high shot percentage. And again, we aren't shooting that well of percentage ourselves. Now, it's also the rebounding battle. If we look at the rebounding battle, we're on average, month by month, 50 in the month of October, November 41, and then 44 in this month. If we look at this current month, if we look at ours as a team stat, 43, 40, 41, 40. Just in comparison, we're getting beat. We're getting beat on the rebounding side of things, and we're giving up such a high percent of shots. It's not going to work for the Miami Heat if things like this continue. Here's what I'll say to close out. Now, it is, like I said, 20 days away from the All-Star break. It's what we need. We really need a break. We need this team to really just let this get through the end of this first half, take the break, use it, let the body rest, let the team gather themselves, and let the second half be a totally different season for the Miami Heat. Let Eric Spoelstra do what he does. Do not panic yet. Remember, we're being led by Eric Spoelstra. We couldn't have chose a better coach to lead a team, especially in a predicament like this. Again, a 6-game losing streak is not great, but it can't really get any worse than this, especially with the talent that we have. We have the ability to win these games, no matter who we play, due to the talent that we have on our team. As currently constructed, I don't think trades are the answer. I'm not saying trade people. I don't think it's the answer. Constantly blowing the team up will never result. It'll be years along the line or down the line before we actually win if we start just blowing things out of proportion with trades. Rozier was a good pickup. He'll help offensively. If there's one trade I'm going to recommend or suggest, it's the P.J. Tucker trade. Caleb Martin for P.J. Tucker. That's way more than LA probably even wants for P.J. Tucker, as he hasn't played in almost like 2 months now. Again, that's the only trade I would even recommend, and that's for a role player just to make a corner 3 and lead morale and just be that defensive dog we need on the floor, really, and when he's not on the floor, just at all times. But besides that, don't be surprised if when the season ends, we're talking about how Miami had the biggest turnaround from one half of the season to the other after the All-Star break. That's my suggestion. That's my idea. Let me know what you guys think. How is this going to go for the Miami Heat on the second half of the season? Will they make the changes they need on this? And thanks for watching this episode of Heat Digest.